So, Sargon of Akkad has been deplatformed from Patreon. He received an email, apparently, a couple days ago, saying that the Trust and Safety Council there, responsible for monitoring whether users' content and speech conforms to their standards, conforms to their rules, they found that one of Sargon of Akkad's, not even his videos, not even anything that he had done on Patreon, but a side stream he had done on someone else's channel, in which he called some alt-right people niggers. It was he said it was in the Chris Rock school of behavioral patterns, not racial ones. And you can listen to his video on the explanation of that. And I think it's a very sensible position to have, but on the use of that word. But they, contra their own stated rules, took this sentence that he uttered on someone else's channel, not on Patreon, as a justification to ban him from Patreon. Now, if this is the first time you've heard of Patreon or other Silicon Valley platforms deplatforming people over reasonable statements, then you are, I'm sorry to say, behind the game. It starts off with the people who seem more offensive, of course. Richard Spencer was among the first. Jared Taylor got deplatformed. The author of the foreword of In Defense of Hatred, which we will return to shortly, Augustus Invictus, my friend, has been deplatformed from more sites and services than I can count. Stripe, Patreon, Facebook, just all of them. Apologies, I'm sort of recovering from an illness here. So, and when they deplatformed Alex Jones, which was one of the big ones, three tech giants deplatformed him simultaneously. The justification was not anything that he said being false, although that was how some other people rationalized the banning. The stated reason was hate speech. Now, a lot of conservatives and classical liberals and libertarians are trying to take this line, saying, what we're saying isn't hateful, it's totally legitimate. It's not hate speech. That line of argument will not work for a number of reasons. First of all, some politically necessary and valuable speech is hateful. That's number one. All hatred is, neurologically speaking, is love and aggression. Philosophically, I define it as disgust towards mind. It's a recognition of conscious adversity to something that you love. And that recognition is the beginning of hatred. And you can choose to override that if you're feeling particularly nihilistic as far as values go. But some hatred is moral and good. Granting the second of all, hatred is, in terms of identifying hatred, is a little bit subjective. If I say, I really think that the Democratic Party is wrong to throw the election in the primaries for Clinton instead of Bernie Sanders, or I really think that the Republican Party is wrong for X, Y, and Z reason. Statements like that, even stated mildly, can be interpreted legitimately as hateful. If I say, I disagree with Islam because it permits and incentivizes child rape, who could seriously say that that is not a hateful statement? It is. I hate child rape, by the way, and Islam permits and incentivizes that. There's no logical way to wriggle out of that, but it's true. The premise is true, and my moral aversion to child rape, I would postulate, is legitimate, and I dare anyone to challenge the legitimacy of hating child rape. And then you have an institution that permits that. So you have two options. You can try to do this whole "it's not really hateful" thing. Or we're not hateful. Yes, but ban the haters. Ban the haters. And you'll lose free speech that way. The second option is to bite the bullet and reevaluate the moral precepts that you have carelessly accepted because they're convenient, namely that hatred as an emotion is evil, which it isn't. And only by doing that can you begin to peel back this creeping prohibition on hate speech and the inevitable places where that will lead to.